All right, hey there, guys. So for today, for this assignment, I'm going to teach you what I think is a totally cool skill to have. So you know how we've been making data tables, we've been making graphs, and then you have to put lines on them and find the slope and all that kind of stuff. Well, it's really good to know how to do that by hand. But what's nice is the computer has a number of programs that can help us do that. So um, what I'm going to do in this video is I'm going to take this data table right here, and I'm going to convert it into Microsoft Excel and have Excel make a graph for me. So just so you guys know, your data will not be the same as this. Okay, that's really important. You have a separate set of data that is in your assignment on Schoology, and I want you to use that data, not this data. So first thing we need to do here, let's go to Microsoft Excel. It's the icon with the green X down here at the bottom of the screen. If you don't see it there, by the way, you can go to your Launchpad and you can just type in Excel and you'll see it there. So I'm gonna start a blank workbook here. Okay, so Excel just gives me a big set of grids. And the nice thing is I can put anything I want in those. So I'm going to make a little table up in the corner here that looks just like this table. So I see that I've got time and I've got, remember that X is horizontal position. So when I make this, just so it's easy for me, I'm going to go time and seconds, and then I'll go position, which we see that position is in meters in this example. And let's just say that this example is Mr. McSparron running at a constant speed. Well, I guess we'll see if it's constant speed. That'll be another question we can answer here. Now all I'm going to do is I'm going to look over here and I'm going to see, all right, well, time goes 0, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So what I can do is I can type in, 0, just hit enter, 2, enter, 4, 6, 8, 10. All right, and there we go. I've got my data. However, let me show you a quick Excel trick. If you know, so this is counting by twos, right? It counts by twos all the way up. If you know you're going to count by twos the whole time, what you can do is just put in the first two numbers, 0 and then 2. And then if I highlight those, what Excel's going to do is it says, all right, I see there's a pattern. It's counting by 2. And all you have to do is grab this little corner. See how when you grab the corner, it turns it black? All right, I just drag down, and it goes 4, 6, 8, 10, and it counts it for you. So it's a nice little shortcut that Excel does. All right, now position, I'm going to go 4, 10, 16. All right, 4, 10, 16. And then 22, 28, 34. Good. 22, 28, 34. Okay, now we're going to end up converting this into another type of document where it'll look like it's printed. We want it to look really nice. So I'm going to try and make this look nice. I'm going to grab everything here, and I'm going to center it. Ooh, that's nice. Okay. And then I want you to watch something. So if I go to File, Print, and I see what it's going to look like when it prints. Yeah, see, that's kind of boring. Do we see how there's no grid lines or anything? So I'm going to cancel that. I'm going to drag them, and if I go to this button right here, I can drop down, and it puts borders on. Now I'm going to do all borders, and I'm going to do thick box border. All right, so now that's going to look cool. Now I want you to notice another thing about Excel. You see this little blue dotted line here? Well, after I've looked at the print box once, it automatically pops in this blue dotted line. And that tells me where the edge of my page is. So anything that I put on this side is going to be on a second page. So we'll keep that in mind for the future. Okay, now watch how easy it is to create a graph based on this data. All I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight the data, okay, just the numbers, and I'm going to go to Insert. And now remember what type of what type of graph we did. We didn't do a bar graph or a column or a pie or anything. We did a scatter plot, okay? So I'm going to choose the scatter plot, and let's look at the different types. So smooth lines, we don't need that. Bubbles, that's kind of more than what we need. Let's just do a traditional regular scatter plot. All right, and what I see, We'll drag it over here because we want it to be on the same page. Okay. Now I've got my graph. And look at what's really nice. I'm going to make it just big enough to stay on one page. Now look at the graph here. What's great about Excel is it automatically chooses a scale for me that's going to make my data fit really nice. So I've automatically got a scale here and a scale here that fills up the whole chart. So that's really nice not to have to worry about that. Now there's a couple things missing. So I don't have labels on the axis here. I don't have a label on the axis here. So let's add that stuff. All we have to do is go to Add Chart Element. And I want an axis title. Okay, so I definitely need a horizontal axis title, and I can pick what it is. So I'm going to do time in seconds. All right, so there's one axis title. I'm going to do, let's see, what else? Axis title. I'm going to do a vertical axis title. If I triple click, it'll highlight everything, and I'm going to say position. And that was in meters. All right, cool. Now, remember what we do for a title up here. It's always just this word versus this word. So time versus position. And now I've got my graph all titled and nice looking. Okay, now, there's one more really cool thing that we can do on this graph. Because, yeah, I mean, this is nice, but this didn't really do much work for us. Here's where it can do work for me. So I know that on a scatter plot, I want to put a line of best fit on it. And now this line of best fit is going to be easy because we see that there's a pretty clear pathway here. But even if the data is messy, it can still do a line of best fit. And I'm going to show you how. So I can add a chart element, and I'm going to do Trendline. Okay. Now, Trendline, it can do a number of different trends depending on what the data looks like. So you'll learn about exponential and that kind of stuff. But right now, all we have is a linear. It's a straight line. So I'm just going to click on linear, and boom, it puts a trend line on for me. That's a line of best fit already on there. Now, even cooler, okay? When we go to calculate the slope of this line, it'll do that for me. So what we're going to do is we're going to just click on the trend line, and look at this. It gives me a little format box over here. Even if it doesn't, just do your 2-finger click and go to Format Trend Line, and that'll open up the box over here. All right, so we know it's a linear trend, but what we want to do is let's go down here and see this display equation on chart. I want to do that. Let's click it. All right, so what happened here? Now I've got this equation, and I'm gonna type it in again. So the equation is y equals 3. Actually, you know what? Hang on. I can just make it bigger. Let's select it all, and let's increase the size. Yeah. Okay. Cool. And move it over. About there. Perfect. Y equals 3x plus 4. Now, what does that tell me? Well, think back, guys. I think you learned this in 8th grade math, and if not, it's coming up in algebra really fast. Remember learning this right here. So, don't spinny wheel me. All right, it's all okay. So, I don't even want to do that. Let's go undo. All right, redo one. There we go. Let's put that down here. Make it bigger so we can see it. All right, so remember that we have this thing where we said y equals mx plus b. And if you haven't learned that before, okay, that's what we call slope-intercept form when we're making equations. And so this is the equation of this line. If you put it in a graphing calculator, you would see this line. But what do the numbers mean? Well, when it's in this form, y equals something times x plus something, whatever that thing in front of the x is, so in this case it's m is your slope. So in this case, my slope equals 3. And that is going to be meters per second because it's meters per second. All right, and then B is actually, we're not going to deal with B yet, but B is going to be the y-intercept, which I can see, okay, if the y-intercept here is 4, look down here. The spot where it crosses the y-axis is 4. All right, so that's what that y equals mx plus b means. So now it is already calculated. Let's get rid of that. Okay, you didn't need to do that. That y equals mx plus b, that was just for me to show you something, okay? So I know that my slope is 3 meters per second, and what that means is that the velocity is also 3 meters per second. So what this has done, Excel has calculated the velocity of the line of best fit, and it's done it for me, which is really, really nice. So here's what you guys are going to do. You should have all this in here. I want you to have slope and velocity written out. I'm going to make them a little bit bigger so that you can see them. Okay. So I want you to have your table, your graph with the trend line and the equation on it, and then I want you to tell me what your slope is and tell me what your velocity is. Remember, you're not using this data, you're using different data. Now, to turn this in, here's what you're going to do. Follow along closely. We're going to go File, Print, but you're not going to print it. There's a cool little option in the print box. See this PDF down here in the bottom corner? I'm going to click on that, and it's going to save it as a PDF. Okay, it'll give me a dialog box. So now you can just save it to your desktop and save it as something like physics, Excel assignment, or whatever you want to assign, want to call it. So I'm going to save that. That's nice. Okay, now watch what happens here, okay? So now I've got physics Excel assignment, and it's a PDF. And there it is. It looks really nice, okay? So I've got my table, I've got my graph with the trend line and the equation, my slope and velocity, which should be the same thing. So you're going to take that assignment, you're going to go back over to Schoology and click on the Submit Assignment button, and I want you to attach that PDF document onto the Submit Assignment button and turn it in and get a grade for it. All right, that's the end of this thing. Remember, you can go back and you can watch this again and you can pause and all that kind of stuff, and you can ask me questions as well. There you go.